Creating your first class in Canvas can be really overwhelming, but I'm going to take you through step by step so you've got all the tools and skills that you need to get it published. Stick around until the end. I've got some important settings to share with you as well. Now, I am here in the Canvas dashboard, so I've already signed in, and I want to give you just the lay of the land first. I've got my published courses up on top. If this is your very first time in Canvas, you won't have any of those, but you'll see your unpublished courses here down below. Now, also on your dashboard, you've got your universal navigation tools. Those are over here on the left. And then over here on the right-hand side, you've got some to-do items. Let's dive right into that unpublished course. So I'm just clicking on it to enter it, and you're gonna land right here, which says to create a new module. Now we've got a few more tools when we're in the classroom. On the left-hand side now, next to the universal navigation, these are your course navigation tools, and we're gonna get that cleaned up towards the end of this video. Over here on the right-hand side, you've got some tools to get started with the course, and when you've got everything published and ready to go, the right-hand side will have your to-do items. The students have their own similar to-do items there as well. Let's dive in by adding a module. Actually, I'm going to add two different modules. The first one that we're going to add is going to be called, I'm going to call it Start Here. You can call it Welcome. I'm going to call mine Start Here. And then add module. I'm going to add a second module. So I'm going to click on that plus module again. And the second one is going to be called Week 1. Again, you can call this whatever you want. I'm just going to call it Week 1 and then add module. We're going to go through this checklist and we can already check the first thing off. The second thing that I want to teach you is to add files and links. And I'm going to do that by using my syllabus. I want to add that to my Start Here module. Okay, so I'm in the Start Here module and I'm going to click on the plus sign and I can add lots of different things, but I want to add a file. So I'm going to click File and then Create File. This is going to allow me to grab one from my computer and then choose File. And under Downloads, where's my syllabus? Here's my syllabus. And then click Open. And I'm going to add item. Okay, so there's my course syllabus. I've got it saved as a PDF. If we click on it, that syllabus shows up. To keep track of where you are in the class, pay attention to this breadcrumb trail that we have up here on top. Because we opened a file, I'm actually in the file folder. We want to get back into modules though, and we can either get there by clicking on the modules button over here on the left, or you can click the back button. I'm going to go ahead and just click on modules to get right back there. I've got my syllabus here as a PDF file, but I actually keep my syllabus as a Google Docs. So let me go over to my Google Docs syllabus. Here it is. I'm going to share the link. So I'm going to go share, and then I already have it set so they can view it, and then I'm going to copy the link. You can do this with any website link. I'm going to copy this link and back over into course modules. I'm going to add another item to the Start Here module. So I click on that plus sign, and I do want an external URL, which I can choose from that drop-down menu. Okay, so external URL. I'm going to click in the next cell and I'm going to do a Control V. If you were on a Mac, you do Command V to paste. Okay, so Control V. And then page name, this is my class syllabus. I want it to load right here in Canvas, and I'm not going to indent that. Let's go ahead and add the item. Now I've got both the class syllabus and the PDF version. I want to publish the class syllabus as a link. So I'm going over here to the right-hand side, and these circles on the right-hand side tell me what the students can see and what they can't see. Well, actually, they can't see anything right now because my class isn't published. But when I publish it, if I click on the class syllabus, I want the link to be visible. I do not want, I'm going to unpublish this one, update. I do not want the PDF to be visible. There's a few other things that I can do now. I can move this class syllabus up to the top, but I can also remove that PDF by clicking on the three dots. So if I click on those three dots, I've got lots of different options. I want to remove that PDF file from my module and then click OK. Now I've removed it from the module, but it still lives in Files, which is over here on the left. Now notice that the module is not published. So even though I've got the syllabus published, the module itself is not. And we want to make sure that we've got that module published so it's ready when the students are able to view it. Okay, so we've got the modules in there, we've got the syllabus in there. Next, we want to add a welcome video, and I'm actually going to show you how to add this as a page. So we're going to again click on that plus sign. Let's add a page to this module. So I want to add, clicking on the down arrow, I want to add a page this time. We do want to create a page, and then my page name is, I'm going to call it welcome video, if I can spell welcome video, and then add item. Now the page is here, but it's not populated. There's nothing in it. So I'm going to click on that page to open it. I need to edit this page. So let's click on the edit button, and I'm just going to add some, like watch this video before getting started with the class. I'm going to hit enter again, and I want to just record a video, which I can do right here inside of Canvas. You can also upload a video that you've recorded in another platform, but recording videos here is so incredibly easy. Okay, so I want to add a video, so I'm going to go insert, and I want to insert media, and I want to upload or record media. So insert media, upload, record media. I'm going to choose that. And I want to not grab one from my computer, but I want to record a video. So I click record, and it is looking for my webcam. Let me switch my webcam here. And okay, perfect. And then it's got my mic too, but I can change the mic if I need to. I can change that here. And then I can click start recording. It's going to count me down. And then I could record my welcome video, which I'm actually not going to do. So let me hit finish. That's a lovely picture there of me. I'm going to scroll down and then click save media, or you could, of course, start over. Now it's going to take a little bit for this to process, although it's like a 3-second video, but I do want to get this centered as well. I am in now what we call the rich content editor. So this text box that I'm in has tons of different formatting options, just like you have like in Word or in Google Docs. I want to center this video. So I'm going to put my cursor not in the line with my text, but I'm going to put the cursor in the line with my video. And then I'm looking for my alignment tool, which I have here. If yours doesn't show up, click the 3 dots and it will give you any tools that aren't showing up in your taskbar. Okay, so I want to do center, and clicking on the alignment tool, I'm going to choose center align. All those formatting options allow me to, I can highlight this and I can make it bold or italic or underlined. I can change the color, I can highlight it. So lots and lots of different options here. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to leave everything else there, and I'm going to click save, but I'm going to make sure I get it published before I publish the class to the students. Looking up at the breadcrumb trail, I noticed that I'm actually in Math 107 Pages Welcome Video right now, and I want to get back to modules. So I'm going to click on modules, or you could use your back button. So in terms of our checklist, we've gotten modules added, we have added our syllabus and a welcome video. We want to add our contact information next. We're going to do that as a page as well. In the Start Here module, let's click the plus button. Again, you should be getting the hang of this, right? I'm going to click on that plus button, and I want to add not an assignment, I want to add a page. And I want to create a page. Notice that welcome video page shows up there now too. So I'm going to click create page, and I want this to be how to contact me, or maybe you want this to be an introduction about yourself or whatever. Let's click add item, and remember it creates an empty page. So I'm going to click on the page, and then we're going to edit it. So I'm going to click edit, and I want to add some information here, but I want to start with a photo. So I'm going to insert an image. So insert and then image. This is going to be a photo of me. So I want to do upload image. This is going to grab something off of my computer. So upload image. I'm going to click on that rocket ship, and then I am looking for this photo of me. It happens to be a picture of me and my dog Maisie. Now below this we've got attributes, and this alt text is really important for a student who's using a screen reader, or for somebody that doesn't have a very good internet connection. It will tell them what this photo actually is. So this is a photo of Angie and her dog Maisie. You can also choose to call it a decorative image if it's not important to the information on the page. I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to leave everything else and then click submit. Now it's going to show up pretty big, and it's a cute picture, but I don't need it to be that big. I want to give myself a little more real estate in my text box here. To do that, I'm going to go over here to the right-hand side, that lower right corner. I'm looking for this array of dots. If I hover over it, I get this resizing cursor. Okay, I'm going to click, hold, and drag to resize. Okay, great. I'm going to click on my photo, and once I click on it, I get these 4 blue squares in the corners, and I can use those to resize my photo. I'm going to hover over one of those squares until I get that resizing tool again. I'm going to click, hold, and drag towards the middle to make that smaller. Okay, great. I've got my cursor at the end of the photo. You can see it blinking there, and I'm going to hit enter. Now I want to add some headings, and I'm going to use the built-in headings. Again, this is for accessibility purposes. A student who's using a screen reader, the screen reader reads headings different than it reads paragraph information. So from this paragraph drop down, I'm going to choose heading 2. The title of your page is heading 1. Okay, so heading 2, and this is going to be a little bit about me. And then I would put my bio stuff here. And then I want another heading, so heading 2 again, and this is going to be how to contact me. I'm going to put a bulleted list over here on the toolbar. I'm going to click on that list, and then it gives some contact information. I'm going to say through the Canvas inbox, and the inbox is this right here. A great way for your students to connect with you. And then you can add anything else too, like office hours, whatever else you've got. Okay, so that's our contact me or about me page. Again, I'm just skipping past all of these other things. We don't need them for a page. And then either save or save and publish. It doesn't matter. I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to publish everything all together. Okay, back to our list. How are we doing? I've got actually 1, 2, 3, 4 checking off contact information. I've got all the information that I want in that welcome module. So I'm going to go back to modules, take a look at that breadcrumb trail. We're actually in pages right now. So I want to go back to modules, and I'm going to publish everything in this module. I'm just going to click on what isn't published. I want everything there to have a green check mark. You could also change the order of these items really easily. Say you wanted that welcome video to come first. If you hover on the dots next to the name over here on the left-hand side, you're going to get this moving tool. I'm sure it's called something else. And I can just click, hold, and drag that up to the top. I also want to look at student view. As I'm building this, I love to use this view as a student so I can make sure it's going to be ready for my students. So as I click that, I'm now in student view, and I'm able to see the Start Here module and all 3 of the items that I published. I'm also noticing that I've got a lot of things over here on the left-hand side that my students will not need to navigate to. We're going to clean that up as well. I'm going to leave student view. And let's dive into the week 1 module. I'm going to start the week 1 module with some text headers. Okay, I'm going to click on the plus sign. I'm trying to catch all of the things that I think will be helpful for you and your students. I did the same thing, right? I clicked the plus sign, and I'm going to add, but this time in the drop-down menu, I'm going to choose text header. Now, in my courses, I have things due every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I make a text header for Monday, add item. I make a text header for Wednesday, add item, and I make a text header for Friday, add item. And I'm going to put information under this. Now, we haven't done a discussion board yet. Let's add a discussion board next. I'm going to add it to this week 1 module. I'm going to click on the plus sign, and I do not want to add a text header. I want to add a discussion, and I want to create a new topic. So I'm going to create topic, and this is going to be meet your classmates. And I do want to indent this. I want it to be offset from my text header text. So I do want to indent this. Let me click indent 1 level. Okay, add item. You guys, if you're following along with me so far, you are doing so good and making so much progress. Let's move the meet your classmates up to Monday. So I'm just going to move this up and have that be due Monday of week 1. Now, it's not populated, right? There's nothing in there. So let's click on it and create this discussion board. So notice how it's got that reply button right there, ready for students to insert their information, but I want to tell them what to do. And I also want to make this look inviting. To edit this, notice there is no edit button. I don't know why, but it does live here. It just is hidden in these three dots over here. So I'm going to click the three dots, and then there is edit. So I'm going to choose edit. I want to give them some instructions, and I also want to put an image here. A really great place to grab free images is at pexels.com. So I've got Pexels open. I'm going to go over here, and I want to look for an image that says hello. So just choosing hello and then searching for that. I'm going to scroll through. I know there's one that I really like. Make sure you're looking at just the free ones. Oh, here it is. I really like this one. So I'm going to choose this hello image and then just do free download. You can also choose, of course, anything off of the internet would work. Okay, so I've got it downloaded there. Perfect. Let's go back to edit our discussion topic, and we're going to insert that image, but I want to show you a different way. Last time we used the insert menu. This time I'm going to use the image icon. So I've got my icon right here. If I click the down arrow next to the icon, I've got several different choices, and I want to upload an image. So I'm going to choose that. Here's my rocket ship, and there's my hello image. Click on that and then click open. I'm not going to describe this as alt text. I don't think it's important for a student using a screen reader to have this photo read to them. So I'm going to choose decorative image. Okay, and then submit. Let's resize this. Actually, I'm going to resize my rich content editor so I can see more. Oh my gosh, that's huge. Clicking on it once, I get the blue squares. Hovering over the blue squares, I'm going to click, hold, and drag to get that to be the size that I want. Okay, I'm going to put my cursor right after hello and hit enter. You can also center this, of course, and then you're going to have your instructions for your students there. Now we do want this to be graded, and we do want to have a due date for this. So as I scroll down, I'm going to look for those options. First of all, underneath anonymous discussion, I leave that off, but you've got lots of great options there. And then in the checkboxes, I don't really use much of those, but I do want this to be a graded assignment. So I'm going to click on that graded in the middle, and I'm going to leave the view. I'm going to leave the default sort order, but I'm going to change the points possible to 5. Display grade as points. We're going to leave that as points. I'm going to put it in the assignment group because that's the only group we have right now. As soon as we save this, we're going to set up some other groups. Peer reviews, I'm going to leave those off, but I know other faculty that use them, like English faculty, and they're amazing. And I want to assign it to everyone. To get a due date in there, I'm going to click on the calendar, and I want this to be due in September. The first week of classes for us, I believe, is this week, so I want it to be due September 29th. I'm going to leave the available date. You could use that if you want to keep something hidden for a while, but I'm fine with it being published. But I do want an until date. This saves me from students posting things later on in the quarter and me forgetting to grade them or having to go back and grade them. But for this, I'd like to give them a nice leeway, like a week. Students are adding the class, so let's do until. Let's do the following week here. So September, actually that would be October 6th. Okay, and then after that until date, notice that these are due at 11:59 p.m. for my class. After this until date, students will no longer be able to post to that assignment. Let's click save, or you could do save and publish. I'm going to do save and publish, actually. Okay, so we can check off discussion boards, but I've got another assignment, a quiz that I'm going to add with you. Let's set up some assignment groups. So we are going to, on the left-hand side, we're going to look for assignments, and it's just the third option down there. I'm going to click assignments. Now, I think Canvas is a little bit backwards because when I think about setting up my gradebook, I would set it up in grades, but we're actually doing this in assignments. And we want to add some assignment groups. Notice that we've got that Meet Your Classmates. That's the discussion board that we just created, listed under the only category now, which is assignments. If you go to my syllabus, I actually have a few different categories. I've got homework, participation, and quizzes. I want those 3 categories to show up in my gradebook, which would be assignments, and to show up weighted 30%, 10%, 60%. Okay, back to assignments. Here it is. So we're going to add a group. So I'm going to go plus group. I already have assignments. So let's add another group. The second group is going to be participation. Save. And that third group is quizzes and projects. The default in Canvas is to have all of your assignments weighted by points. So it would be the total points possible, and then everything would be weighted based on how many points they were worth. But I do mine by percentages. So each of my groups are weighted. So I'm going to click on the three dots over here in the upper right corner, and I'm going to choose Assignment Groups Weights. Click on that, and I want to do the checkbox that says to weigh final grades based on assignment groups. Assignments in my classes were 30%, participation is 10%, and then those quizzes and projects are 60%. Let's click Save. Now back to that Meet Your Classmates. This is really a participation activity, so I'm going to move it into my participation category. I'm going to hover over that array of dots. I'm going to click, hold, and drag that right down to participation. The other thing that you can do is to click the three dots, and then you can choose Move To. That would be another way to move it. Okay, let's add another thing to our modules. We haven't done any quizzes yet, so we're going to do that next. Back into modules. In that week 1 module under Due Wednesday, we want to add a syllabus quiz or a getting started quiz. So I'm going to click the plus sign, and clicking the drop down menu, I want a quiz, and then create quiz. Now I'm in free Canvas right now, and free Canvas does not have the new quizzes option. So let me go over to my For Real class. I'm going to go over to my For Real class, and this is their Getting Started module. You can see everything that I've got in there, but I'm going to add a quiz here. Remind me to not publish it. Okay, I'm going to click the plus sign, and I want to add a quiz here. So I'm going to do the drop down and then quiz. I want to create a quiz, and it gives me two different options. One is new quizzes and one is classic quizzes. If you're just starting out in Canvas, I highly recommend that you start with the new quizzes and just do everything based on that. So I'm going to check new quizzes, and I'm going to give my quiz a name. I'm just going to call it Syllabus Quiz. I do want it to be in the assignments category, but if I click that down arrow now, I've gotten the other options. These are the options for this particular class, but you've got the options that we've built in there now. And I do want to indent this. I'm going to indent it 1 level and then add an item. So we're going to have some work to do to build this quiz, but it's really, really easy, and Canvas is going to step you right through. I'm going to click that syllabus quiz, and I'm going to be building it in the new quizzes platform. When I'm done with this one, I'm going to go back and do one in the classic quizzes. So if you only have that option, hang on for a second, and I'll show you how to do the same thing there. Okay, so I've got my details. I'm actually going to leave the points because I'm going to have it add up points as I put questions in. The assignment group, I do want it to be in assignments, and I want to display it as points. I do want to count it. Okay, I'm going to leave all of that. And I do want a due date. Now I can't pick that Wednesday in September because I'm in my spring quarter class and it's limited by the dates of the quarter. So instead, for a due date, I'm going to choose just something in the quarter like Wednesday the 30th here, and then I'm going to also do an until date. I give students a 2-day grace period. So my until date will be May 2nd. Okay, and then I want to choose build, but to be honest, sometimes I hit the save button because I get nervous about things not getting saved, and then I will go back and find it. It's at the bottom of my module. I'll open it again, and then I'll click the build button. Okay, so I'm going to click build, and I'm ready to add in some questions. Next, it's going to prompt us for instructions. I'm going to click on the add instructions. It will tell them the parameters that you've set in terms of a time limit and how many tries you've given them. But I'm going to say something like, read through the getting started information and the syllabus to prepare for this quiz. And then you could, of course, say you've got 3 tries or whatever you've got. Okay, so I've got that there. And then I'm going to choose done. Notice that you had all of the rich content editor options, formatting options. This is really nice because it just steps you right through. The next thing that you want to do is to add a question, and I'm just going to click that plus sign. So I'm going to click the plus sign. It says, what kind of a question do you want to add? Let's start with a multiple choice question. So I'm going to choose multiple choice, and then it asks for the question title. This is not, and I mix this up all the time, this is not the question, this is the question title. So this is going to be, this one's going to be about due dates. The question stem is the question. Notice that rich content editor popped up again. So when are assignments due in this class? And I can go ahead and just fill in some answers, including, of course, the correct answer. So I'm going to have that first answer, let me click on that first answer, be Fridays. Click in the second answer. Again, you've got all of the editing options, so cool. I'm going to have this say Sundays. I'm going to have one say Monday. I'm just going to abbreviate Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And I'm going to say never. So I've got all of my answers there. 4 of them were fine. I could click this plus answer to get another answer, but I want to make sure that I have clicked on, I'm going to choose this one, that marks my correct answer. Now you do have some other options here. They're not going to need a calculator. You could vary points by answer. This is super cool. Classic Quizzes does not have this, so maybe a closer answer would get them more points, like maybe you want the Friday to give them partial credit or something. I'm not going to do that though, or do any of the other things. I want to keep this really simple, and then I'm going to choose done. And notice over here on the left hand side, so far my quiz is worth 1 point. Okay, let's add another question, right? I'm just going to click the plus sign, or you could click it here and it would add the question up above. So let's click that plus sign. We're going to add another question. Let's do an essay question. Question title, this is going to be math class, because the question I'm asking is going to be, what is the last math class you took? And I made this an essay question. So that means they can just type out whatever class it was that they took. I'm not going to give them options here. I do want to give them the rich content editor. That's this right here with all of the formatting options. You could set a word limit. Gosh, I love all of these options here. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to click done. And then you could add another question if you wanted. I'm going to leave this at 2 questions. Next, we want to click on settings. I want to give my students a few attempts here. So I'm going to click on settings. Lots of options here. I don't want to do a time limit, but I do want to allow multiple attempts. I'm going to turn that on. And I don't want to do unlimited. I want to do limited. And I'm going to give them, say, 3 attempts. Some other options here. Hide results from students. I do want to do that as well. But I do want to show the questions, and I do want to show the points awarded so they know if they got it right or wrong. Now, again, I would encourage you, after you've got your settings all set up, to go back here to build and then back to preview, take that quiz and see what it looks like for your students. Once you've got everything all set up, notice you don't have those course navigation options on the left-hand side. Instead, we need to click the return button. To add a classic quiz to the class that we were building, we are here in the week 1 module. I would click plus. I do want to add a quiz, create quiz. Notice it didn't give me that option. And this would be my syllabus quiz. And then I want it to be in assignments. I'm going to give it an indent and then add item. I'm going to click on that quiz and it's going to look just a little bit different from here. I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to skip through some of the things that we saw before. As I edit this one, I can let the students see their correct answers. Those options are right here. I can allow multiple attempts. That option shows up right away. And I want to do 3 attempts to get that to match. Everything else looks fine there. Let me scroll down further. I do want to put a due date, and I am in this new class that I'm building, so I can make this my September 1st. And until that would be September, what would that be? September 3rd? Or not September, October 3rd, October. And then, okay, so I've got everything here. I'm going to click save, but I still need to build those questions. It really is similar though. I want to edit again, so I'm going to click edit. And I want to build the questions. So I'm going to click questions. And you can see that the platform is a little bit different here. I'm going to choose plus new question to get a new question in there. To get to those different options, you're going to choose the drop-down menu. I do want multiple choice. And then your question instructions go here. So when are things due? And then I can go down and start to type some answers in. So I can do Fridays, Sundays, and then what do you do? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then never. This time I've got that green arrow, and I want to put the green arrow, I'm going to hover and click on that one in front of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This question's ready to go. If I wanted to add another possible answer, I would click that here and then update question. I can add another question. We wanted an essay question. So dropping down here, I'm going to go to essay question here. last math class. I don't have anything else to do here, so I'm going to choose update question. And then I can do save. And I really want to preview this. So just like the new quizzes, I can preview this quiz, take the quiz, make sure it looks exactly as I want it to. Okay, so we just finished quizzes. We are getting so close to being done. Let's clean up some course settings. Now your settings live way over here at the bottom of this long list of things. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to these options and I'm going to choose settings. There are tons of things that show up in course details. If you wanted to add a course image, you would add the course image here and it would show up on the dashboard where you first click to get into the class. You probably won't have access to change the name of the course or the time zone, although mine is wrong. I'm Pacific time zone here. And you probably won't have access either if yours is being administered by a school to change those dates either. You can't change the default due time, so you can change that to be anytime you want. 11:59 p.m. works great for me. There's some other options here, but what I really wanted to show you are these options down here at the bottom. So letting students attach files to discussions, this is important to have that one checked and it's our default. Let students create discussion topics. I don't. They can still reply and post to a discussion board, but I don't let them create their own discussion boards. Let students edit or delete. I let my students do that. You may or may not. Let students organize their own groups. I don't have my students organize groups, but again, you could have that option chosen. Don't check the high totals in student grade summary unless you want to, but I do want to disable comments on announcements. Now we haven't put an announcement in here yet, but we will once we're just about ready to publish. I don't like to have the ability for students to comment there because, to be honest, I forget to check those. And I'm checking my inbox, but I'm not always checking my announcements. Okay, so we're going to update these course details. The other super important settings that I want you to change are your navigation options. So I'm going to click the navigation tab. Notice in my screen anyway, I've got tons and tons of things visible. I do not want to have all of these things visible to my students. So anything that I want hidden from students, I'm going to click, hold, and drag it down underneath drag items here to hide from students. The other thing that you can do is to click the three dots and then click disable. I'm going to clean this up and then I'll show you what I've got left. Okay, here's what I have left, and it's not very much. So I've got announcements. We're going to post an announcement here in just a second. I have grades, so students can view their grades, and I have modules. Now notice I hid stuff like discussions. That's because my discussions live inside of the modules. My quizzes are also hidden. They live inside of the modules. Files are also hidden. They live inside of the modules. I don't want my students to go to a list of all of the discussion boards. I would rather have them follow the flow of the class. The good news is if you change your mind on something, it's really easy to come back here and either hide or unhide something, enable or disable. Let's click save. Next up, I want to show you the course calendar, and this is something that you have access to and your students do as well. It's a great way to keep things organized. It's part of the global navigation in Canvas. So I'm going to go all the way over here on the left and click on calendar. Now I've got a few classes here, but I want to make sure I have just my Math 107 class clicked on, and I'm going to go over here to September, so July, August, September, and you can see some of the due dates that we've already assigned for students. I want to add a calendar event, and that would be the first day of class. So I'm going to click on the 29th. I'm going to double click on the 29th. So double clicking on the 29th. Notice that this banner matches the color of the course card and the box that we just checked. That way I know I'm in the right class. Input event, I'm going to say classes starts today. You can add some other information. I'm not going to, but I'm going to click submit. Your assignments automatically show up here, and this is a great place to change a due date. Say that it turns out that Monday actually isn't a class day and you want to move your syllabus quiz to be due on Friday instead. It's now due on Friday, and I'm going to move my Meet Your Classmates to the 1st and class starts this day. Once I've moved them around in the calendar, it automatically changes the due dates for my students. Since we're in the global navigation, we also have our inbox here, and our inbox is where students will send us messages. I don't have any conversations here. If I click on the inbox, I'm not going to show you my students' messages, but this is my for real class. If I click on my inbox here, you can see that I've got messages here that students send me. This is a great way to stay in contact with your students. Also in this global navigation is account. Notice how I've got my photo there. So I'm going to click on account. I think it's really important as the instructor to have your photo there as well. To do that, you're going to go into settings. So I'm going to click settings. I want to change this though. I'm going to do edit settings. I want to change my photo. To change my photo, once I've clicked on edit settings, I can hover on my photo and this pencil appears. I can click on that pencil and I'm ready to upload a photo. I click choose photo and it takes me right to my computer to choose a photo. I actually like my photo, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click cancel. But here you can also change your email address. Let's click update settings and I think we are ready to publish. Now I promised we would do an announcement as well, but we need to publish our class first, then we'll do the announcement. Okay, let's check to make sure everything is how we want it. So we're going to go back to the dashboard and then back to our class. And I don't have that week 1 module published. Let's go ahead and publish that. I'm going to click on the circle and I do want to publish the module and all items. I'm also going to do a quick student view. So let's click on view as students just to make sure and take a look there. Grades and modules are showing up. Announcements aren't yet because we don't have an announcement posted, but we will here in a second. And my to-do items are also showing up there for my students. Okay, leave student view. It's looking great. I want to publish. So I'm going to click this down arrow here and then I'm going to click on publish. And I wish the confetti fell, but it doesn't. So I will create some confetti here for you. Now we can do an announcement. Let's do an announcement. Clicking there, I'm going to click add announcements and I'm just going to say welcome to class. And then your announcement would go here, blah, blah, blah. This available from date can be really great if you're scheduling announcements. I do Monday announcements for my online classes, and in my dreams, I schedule these all ahead of time, but in reality, I actually don't. But this would be a great way to schedule them. We're not going to do that. I'm just going to do publish. And if I now notice how that eyeball went away, so announcements should now be visible to students. And if I click view as a student, we've got that announcement there. They can click on modules and everything is there just like we want them. Next up, you're going to want to create some assignments and learn how to grade those assignments. Subscribe for videos just like this one and so much more. You got this.